Okay, well, welcome once again to the Long Spoon. This time is for May 2024's Long Spoon. And we are uh, here working with the tabletop conversation, and we're kind of focusing on something from the alchemical wisdom cards that we have on for this month again. And we've selected number 27, so I will reread it and then we'll jump into our conversation.
Mm.
Okay, the image is collage says navigating factors of visionary sight economizes rhythmically the light, so the traveler can move on water with ease. And the text going with that collage is navigating the factors of visionary sight demands a keen awareness of the delicate interplay between perception and reality. By economizing rhythmically the light, one can uncover hidden pathways and unearth obscure truths. This rhythmic manipulation allows the traveler to seamlessly move on water with an unparalleled grace, riding the undulating waves with ease and confidence. Visionary sight serves as the guiding beacon, illuminating the path ahead and revealing the intricate dance of light and water that unfolds before the traveler's eyes. Through this harmonious interplay, the traveler becomes one with the elements, gliding effortlessly over the liquid expanse with a profound understanding of the dynamic equilibrium between vision and movement, light and rhythm. And that's a nice deep dive, but the one thing I realized as I was reading it is that with the liquid that is being spoken of here and the undulating waves and the water unfolding is the emotional element.
Yes.
So
Right.
the emotions are that combined with the visionary sight, which is the guiding beacon, makes the path easier. So that's
Well,
this
today that
this month. Yeah.
I noticed that Gemmo, the black honeysuckle, is for fluidity.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I remember you pointing that. I forgot about that though. Fluidity.
So I think that's in this month of May.
Mm-hmm.
I think not only us but the whole world is trying to find some fluidity. Where can they find it, and how can they keep it so that we don't feel like we all sink below.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that and the more fluid we can be, and it's not easy. It's kind of a choppy energy in
Mm-hmm.
everything right now, and so it's like you can fall off your little pedestal very quickly, and you can fall off
All off of it.
your centeredness because it's kind of choppy
Choppy.
right
Yep.
now,
Yep.
and that is fluid, but it's trying to find a way where everything is connected and it's smoother.
And look how in the collage itself on this is when you are on the long spoon and you go to the wisdom cards. This is on page 56, which is
And this
the
is
number.
on the long spoon
Yeah,
this month.
yeah, it's number 27. But the collage you'll see, there's your picture with that overlaying. It's almost like the bindweed that we have in the the little videos that we've done. But also the inset there is with look the boats. So here it is on the water's waves and the undulation and finding your seat in
And your
in that
balance.
balance and your direction and vision and between it's a dynamic equilibrium between vision and movement, light and rhythm.
Wow.
So that's going to be this month.
Yeah.
Is working with that.
I loved what you said, Suzanne, about how easy it is right now with it being so choppy that you can fall off the pedestal or fall off very easily or feel like you're falling. And but what I loved is in that first paragraph of this card about this card is I think like Christina and I are finding when you feel like you're falling or you've fallen off, you actually are falling into hidden pathways.
The next
And
yeah.
so that you can actually unearth um,
Obscure
truths. So it's a lot of things are happening in this up and down undulating waves of the emotions and different things that are coming in and out of our lives that sometimes feels like you're falling, or it's chaos, or um, you're you're not able to find, you're not on the path, or you can't find the path, but then all of a sudden you realize that you're actually found a hidden pathway by accident, or not, that so that you can actually suddenly see and unearth some truths about yourself, about life, about the next steps you're to take, that you couldn't even see before.
It's like falling through a hedge and you find all this
Yeah.
big, open, beautiful expanse and meadow
Exactly.
just right on the other side. And you, oh my gosh,
Exactly.
where did this come
Well,
from?
there was a really cool example of this happening today, actually, when I was talking with Suzanne
Oh yeah.
on the phone, and all of a sudden the pressure, the air pressure, elemental, it said the front right tire was like really low, like 10 pounds less. And I was like, oh man, I'm down a peninsula, I'm in the middle of nowhere. How am I going to find some air to pump this up? There must be some nail in it. How am I going to get it towed? The car's filled with coffee still. Like, what? And then all of a sudden, as I'm talking with Suzanne, the numbers just completely recalculate and goes back to normal.
Wow.
And I thought, oh my gosh, so you could totally catastrophize. And you could totally go to worst case scenario. And you could totally be like, oh, here we go again. And,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden, poof, it was like gone. So it felt like, to me, it was almost like a hidden pathway, a truth.
Yeah, oh
that
my
was
gosh.
revealed, of just knowing, like, let's just let this play out. Let's see how this
really
goes out.
yeah.
And I felt like new numbers were calculated. And using air in some way, and then nothing ever happened since.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
Is that the weirdest thing?
Yeah,
So
it
out
is.
of the
It is
blue.
weird.
Oh my
And
gosh.
those numbers weren't like little numbers. Those were like, there's a nail
Well,
in
that's
your tire,
more weird.
and you're practically flat.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so that was neat that there was no flattening that actually happened.
That is
And,
wild.
So that was
That
kind
is
of,
I
a
don't
round
think many
tale
can tell
if I
that
ever.
story.
I know, through a traveler's eyes.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, and also in that same paragraph, it's talking about that delicate interplay between perception and reality. So we're dealing with that constantly. We're in and out, especially right now. For some reason, it just seems really intense that we're holding two things. Like there's a perception that the world has, or society, or that you've always thought was real,
Or all the
and
things going on.
yeah, that again catastrophize, or any of that, and then suddenly finding that there's actually a real reality happening at the same time, or
Yeah,
right
yeah.
underneath that you couldn't see, or
It's more
Yeah.
supportive.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. That is something.
You can see how the universe is conspiring to support you.
Yeah.
Any chance it gets.
Just in case you went to sleep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, that is so good. That is
Sleep
so
at the
good.
wheel.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I feel that our dailiness of each day, looking into the content of that day, helps us a lot.
Yeah.
It helps us. It's like something earlier in the day will have content that later will just fill in the hole right there.
Right. Yes.
And it's gotten so. We look for that.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge part of the inner growth is looking for that.
Yeah.
When you notice more things, then when something falls in the hole, that you have more tools, you have more opportunities, you have more ideas, and it's like almost the idea of the tire going flat was. You knew it related to more than the tire going flat. And you have that kind of content in your
Yeah.
beingness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't have that kind of content in their beingness, but in our daily life, we work to have that kind of content. So then, who knows what we do with that content? who knows how much we can receive,
Yeah.
like a
Mhm.
miracle,
Yeah.
or like something completely out of the ordinary that you can't even explain. Because maybe that morning, well, like for me, like the alchemical mind was perseverance.
I love that.
So,
Mhm.
and it wasn't like, it was also perseverance by not having so much riffraff in your occupying your image or your space or who you are. It's like, for me in the alchemical mind, it was like wearing really loose clothes.
Mhm.
I love that.
That whole thing of, if you're going to persevere, then wear some loose clothes.
What a difference that makes.
What a difference that makes, and that's part of the content that actually helps you persevere.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah,
Being comfortable.
so I feel that the whole beautiful story about the tire going flat and what you're going to do with it, that you have enough in your content that you would even ask that.
Yeah, you didn't panic.
Mhm.
Now what am I going to do with this? Other people would just scream and fall out of the car. Everything.
Well, and part of me is also
Probably
wondering.
my old self would.
Part of me is feeling too that somehow etherically maybe I pulled out a nail, an etheric nail.
Mhm.
That would have
Been
been there,
problematic,
and it was
yeah.
like, well, let's just do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's a reality.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah, and then the numbers shifted after that,
Yeah.
like right after that. And I had actually done that at work today. I plucked out somebody I don't want to work with anymore,
Mhm.
and I took them out,
Mhm.
off to the side,
Mhm.
out of the picture.
Mhm.
And I plucked it out, just like that. And
It's not the real
Etherically.
person, but
no,
Etherically.
I mean,
That kind of
etherically.
irritation.
Yeah.
Like, I just, like if you're playing with with toys and
Mhm.
characters,
You just
you
pick
you
them
take
up and
that
move them off
character
to
out
the
and you
side.
put it off to the side.
Yeah.
And like that was
Oh,
the
that's
same
kinda
thing
like the
as
new
the
work.
nail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's
I
exactly
think that's
what,
awesome. But it's kind of like the new
I
work
didn't
that
hurt
we're
anybody.
thinking of.
Don't worry.
We were just talking about taking images
Yeah.
and that are in the work, and then bringing them as a singular character where you could move
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
that's that whole concept of being able to pluck something, bring something to you, or take something that isn't working and say, this is not working, and you take them out of your realm.
yeah,
Yeah,
Out of
that's
that
what-
reality.
that's
You don't
what
really
I was
hurt
just
them,
gonna
but
say.
you take them out of your realm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's
It's
one of the
true.
beautiful things that's come forward this in the past month was the whole concept about how we each are a
Your
realm, and that
Oh,
we
yeah.
are creating the realm of ourselves by inviting the energies, the objects, the people, the
The guardians.
concepts, the
Yeah.
guardians, the allies. What all do we want to bring into our realm and own as our realm?
Mhm.
That was
And
in
I-
this week's book, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the
Mhm.
week
You wrote-
before
You all
too.
wrote.
Yeah.
You
And
did
it's
put that
so
on
much
too.
so
Yeah.
normally
Okay.
we put on the previous two flip books from the previous month, the last two we
Right.
put into here, but this time that was such a
was last
marker
week's,
piece
Mm.
that we did the last one of April and actually the first flip book of this
Of
month.
May and that
So
was
it's in there, the one
Wow.
you're referring to.
So people can
Yeah,
get a
so
chance to read
the
that.
May
now.
3rd flip book is the
Oh,
one
good.
that's
Awesome.
yeah,
That's a really
it's
cool.
in this long spoon.
That's huge to think of yourself as, a realm, like
Yeah.
a universe,
It
a
remind,
galaxy. a
but you
planetary-
actually were embodying that today. I mean, you were saying, you were like, I don't want this person in my realm.
I
So
don't.
you
I've just
were
had it. I've reached a
etherically
point where-
removing them from
no more
mattering, from mattering in
Yeah.
your realm, so that they would have less
Yeah.
or no influence in the realm of yourself and your day and what you were doing. I just think it's a really powerful concept to take in and to keep fleshing that out, to
Well, because
keep,
sometimes you don't feel like there's any empowerment
right.
when you're like having to work with a toxic person. That there's no,
Yeah.
like it's not going to change. Like it's not going to be different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so you can't change them. And so what could you change? And so
Mhm.
these are kind of like where we work and where we live are like our laboratories. So
Yeah.
this is laboratory work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
That is so good.
That was great.
Thank you.
I love this last paragraph that reminds me of what we've just been watching, which is the sudden change that came for you all, for Suzanne and Robert today, of something they've been preparing for, and then all of a sudden this whole concept and was gliding effortlessly over the liquid expanse with a profound understanding of the dynamic equilibrium between vision and movement, and that's what you all have worked with. And
It
it's just-
was really.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it just, and it was so cool to come in and see you all so happy and so relieved and so open to all the opportunities that are going to come, that you've you've already imagined them. I mean, I've been around enough years to know that you've already created these ideas in your mind and your aura, but now here's an opportunity to know the ins and outs of it, or however you want to, refer
And
to
that's
it.
in reference to the new courses? Or
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Tell the people.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, it's like we're waiting for the next level, and so all year we haven't really painted or done a lot of that. We've done other things, grading the books and stuff. But when we realized that we needed to create studio space, then it was a huge job, which we didn't even know what we were doing. But we had to
How big
move
it
a
was
lot
gonna
of
be.
rooms and a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
and books and everything, and then we had to establish in the little white cottage, which is, it has room, but it had a lot of other things in it. So it's like you have to go inside and take its innards out and then put everything
Mhm.
else in. And we lifted a lot, and we stretched a lot, and we stressed a lot, and we went above
Ached
and
a
below
lot.
and
It's a
inside
major
everything.
Rubik's Cube.
Yes, and then we were doing the garden at the same time, and the living, all the different rooms were moving.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a rumble. And everything starts rumbling and it starts moving, and all at once you're just in it, and you really can't see what it is. You're like, you can't only see above water, and you're just listening and doing it, not understanding exact. But it's like all at once things, I could see them moving, and I could start moving them around and seeing what would fit where before we did it.
Well, that's that visionary sight serves as the guiding beacon, and that's what you
True.
have.
Well, it was a lot of work for all of us because the garden was moving, and the house was moving, the library was moving, and we were still living our ordinary life, which was pretty darn busy.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're kind of all sore and aching right now,
Mm-hmm.
but we moved a lot of things that we haven't lifted or moved in quite a while, and so we had to get warmed up, and then all at once today, it's like you get everything in place. We got the Rose Cottage in place.
Yep.
And we had so many mediums out there that we haven't had before, all together in one space, and we did it so intuitively. In fact, we really didn't know what it was building, and then today, all at once, we saw this whole group of small workshops, but they were on all the things that we had thought about in these last years since the last show, and over the years of things that we've
Over
always
the
wanted
years.
to do or loved to do, but it just really wasn't on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all at once, all those things are what that studio is set up for. And we have never had all that in one space. And then also we have another space where we do all of our what is it? Our
Internet stuff.
and building books and everything.
Mm-hmm. Our web stuff. Yeah.
And that space is all to itself, and it's easy to get to in the house. It's in our studio, And so the whole thing just ran through. We had a space for the whole picture. I don't know how good we're going to do with it, but it's very exciting. They were small courses in specific things like paper cutting, dioramas, about building podcasts, about in the children's books, different things and how to do work with the characters and all of that. We have children's books, but it's like a different way to expand it. And
And it's an international voice because the ones
Yeah,
that are,
yeah.
are presenting are from all over the world
Mhm.
too.
and they're illustrators, and there's
Mhm.
people that work with building podcasts and websites and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But they're all in this group that
It's-
we
and it's so
got today.
concisely curated that you don't have to go all over the web to
Right.
hunt
Yeah.
for something that you want, and then you own it, and you can reference it anytime.
And
And there-
Domestica, that sounds like
Yeah.
home, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Like
Mm-hmm.
that you're creatively home,
Yeah.
like with.
Yeah.
It's like the traveler can move on water with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is really what
That's what you're doing.
because we haven't felt like we could do that.
Yeah.
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 And the black honeysuckle was for that fluidity and the ease.
Oh, and the serendipitousness of how's that serendipitousness
Of what?
of it was amazing because today, and we had no idea about it. It's just that you happened to come across it. Was that they were discounting all of their courses, and as we were trying to show you all this evening what we had come across, I hadn't noticed it at the beginning when we were getting them, but across the top of the screen said less than or 1 hour left for this. So we just stumbled
Oh my
into
God.
what this
Like a
was.
flash
And
sale.
Wow.
Hit the nail on the head with the
That's-
timing without,
And the courses
Being
are like
aware of it ahead of time.
$50, but they were $5.99.
yeah, so it's just
Oh,
amazing.
And
wow.
wonderful, very talented people, and they're fully. The courses are like 6 or 7 classes inside of it, showing you up close details
Precisely. What
on doing these things.
And
hidden
giving them their,
pathways
and also we learned their story because they aren't
Well,
just
I'm
showing,
illustrators.
showing you just
Artists.
what they're
Obscure
doing,
truths.
but they're kind of talking about their
I think it's so fun
their
because
life and their world.
I never thought about it. One really great illustrator woman, she's sitting in a chair, and behind her is all these books, but they're all falling over and
Yeah.
stacked.
He
Yeah.
said, "Look at her!
Right.
Look at her library."
And she's talking very confidently, and she's European, so you're having to read the little things.
Mm-hmm.
But she started realizing that how she illustrated was specific to how she sees life, which you would know that, but it's like she's lived in the same city in Europe all her life. And she likes things close. And so in her books, the characters are close up.
Yeah.
And they take up a lot of the imagery. You know, you see them close and maybe a little background, but also you see just part of their body, and
As
and
an
it's
eye
lovely
would.
how she talks about it.
Yeah.
About this is the way she is as a person, and it was
That was
fascinating.
a refreshing perspective,
I
and that
know it.
inspires you all. Like when you go and do
Mhm.
something, it's like that all connects in with the inspiration that you find in those places. It connects in with the long spoon because you're sharing what inspires you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
You know, so
realize
it's
who
like
you
this
are.
ripple effect,
Yeah.
Oh, it's very
which is
Yeah.
really
Your work-
fabulous.
Your word
It's so
shows who
funny.
you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love how you just said that because I was just thinking about the fact that as you all as creatives that's your whole world, but in your generosity of sharing what
Mhm.
other creatives can relate and be inspired, but what happens that's so interesting is that even people who don't consider themselves creatives can start changing their perception, like, and
Yeah.
see a
Mhm.
different reality, that they can start seeing life in different eyes. It doesn't mean that they're suddenly going to go start writing or painting something or creating something, so to speak, but they might start shifting something in their everyday life, in their realm. They might suddenly start looking at themselves as a realm and seeing what things they want to gather, what do they dream of, what, just start stimulating their imagination and what that might just start bringing to them in a day. Just a bigger picture of a day instead of the humdrum.
Maybe you
or-
don't really have a nail in my tire.
That's right. All of
Like
those
an art teacher in grade school that made you not feel like
Yes.
you were
Like you were,
worthy.
yeah.
Maybe that nail wasn't even real.
Yeah.
And you really have
Suddenly
all the
start looking at that.
all the air that you need to keep rolling along.
Right.
Right.
You got the right numbers actually.
Yeah.
And
That is lovely.
I just love this because I feel like you all, as the creatives that you are, and like I said, as generous as you are in the sharing, like through this long spoon and this huge website of content, there are so many threads to be able for anybody to be able to pull that they can resonate with. There's always something that they could resonate with to suddenly start seeing a brighter, lighter, bigger picture of themselves and their lives. And I think it's very easy in this world right now to feel very closed in, for life to feel very limited, and like it's just, you can feel really stuck really fast and trapped even, and but just being able to bring breath and light and levity and a different perspective can change everything.
Well, like this last line of like finding a dynamic equilibrium between vision, movement, light, and rhythm.
Yes.
That's something to reach for just in this week.
right.
You know,
Right.
inspiring movement, looking for ways to incorporate more light and rhythm and vision, and take time to look at things and be present with the day. And pretty
Well, I
amazing.
feel like we have more friends. Each class is a new friend that we're going to, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes,
the thing
yes.
is that we have always related to European art.
Oh yeah.
We really, really fall into loving European illustration for children's books. It's just so, we adore it. And we fit more in that world that way, not as much in I love all books and children's books, and I'm open to all of them, but I just know that the ones that, I have ones that are really neat, but the European, I've got them on a special shelf because they're like so different, such new angles and perspectives and
fresh.
everything. It takes my breath away. And so I think that's really, I think we are more comfortable in that world. And so a lot of this that we're going to be studying is coming out of the creative life in the European world.
And I don't know if people realize, but as you all are writing the long spoon, you have bookshelves behind you filled with all of your books that you've written.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's countless books now. It's like
260, or I think.
I mean, I don't know how
At
many
least.
you've published there, but it's like at least 75 published books on a shelf.
Oh yeah. No,
And then
146 published.
And then all
then
the
the
You have
trade
flip books.
146 published.
and then
146
all the trade
published,
books
and then all
that
the
are
flip books.
corrugated with all of
like
those,
that.
like
Yeah.
10 books
Oh,
in
yeah.
one. And
That's true. That's not.
so,
counting
I mean,
that.
that's pretty amazing when you see, like, a lady, an artist that's behind a bookshelf with all of those books and stuff, but to actually have them be books that you've written and that you've published.
Yeah, they weren't hard.
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And then the Long Spoon has at least one or two of your books in it. So that's also
Each
a really
month,
awesome thread for
And this
people to be able to
This is our 20th
get familiar with.
20th issue. 20 months now.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that's something.
Oh, darn, I wish I
Gosh.
realized that. I
Really?
would have put that in the
Oh.
email.
We're kind of celebratory, huh?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Yay!
Awesome.
Happy 20th birthday!
Thank you.
Well, and just
This
a
is
Long
our silver.
a few days ago, we had something kind of remarkable. We put a lot on, and but very rarely does somebody
Comment.
really comment to it really deeply. And a man from
Can-
Canada came on had reshared like 8 of the alchemical minds.
Mhm.
And then he wrote us and told us that, especially the one on manifestation he mentioned,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
each chemical mind has one of um, the avatars, the imprints or
Yeah.
patterns, and that one there were different ones, but
Mhm.
there was a manifestational one. But he just felt it was remarkable. He said, "This is remarkable information," and he went to see more of what we were doing, and he just congratulated us on
And-
the
yeah.
beautiful work that we have done.
And he
Mhm.
wants more videos of you all making work together.
Yeah, that's
Oh, we
sweet.
did?
Creating artwork together.
Let's
I
just
love
see
that he
more
put a
of it.
request.
Yeah,
And
so
he put a
cool.
little thing, a little kind of a character with like a butler with somebody, a man all in black and
He's-
then tipping his
Yeah,
hat.
he's bending forward and tipping his like bowler
bowler
hat.
hat.
You know.
Oh, it was just so, I mean, it just
Yeah, it's
stunned us. It
awesome.
was
Uh-huh. So cool.
so lovely, and someone to really speak to what we have done together,
Mhm.
and how
He could recognize the real
Yes.
treasure in that.
Mhm.
Yes.
And gave
Mhm.
that
it was
sound,
just
which is really
it made us
special.
cry. It
Yeah.
was really
Very
so
sweet.
beautiful.
Very sweet.
People don't realize
And
what
encouraging.
gifts words are.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't.
They're the biggest gifts, honestly. Better than any tangible gift, and
Mhm.
the gift of sound.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think enthusiasm is kind of rare,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
we have a lot of enthusiasm, but it's like a lot of people don't, and it's really well, it's sad for them, but it's sad for us because it's rare,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
in order to survive, you do need it. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Alchemically.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's very
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Alchemically, you need it.
Mhm.
I mean, it just doesn't work without
The
it.
enthusiastic doer and the idealistic conceiver.
Mhm.
Or do I have that backwards?
Mhm.
No, it's
Mm.
good.
Is that
That's
the right?
good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right order.
I think they're versatile.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Interchangeable.
Yeah, you can
Oh, good.
change them back and
They're very important.
forth. Mhm.
And you're right, it's the alchemy. You need that alchemy. And sometimes when you're really spread out in the world, there's you get it in a different way. But if you're not getting it, you feel like you need to come back in and make your world smaller, so that whatever is enthusiastic is close up.
Mm.
Because when it gets really big and there's nothing close up, it's hard to work with it alchemically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
if you're not getting that kind of feedback on a larger scale, we've found just to pull in and come to the scale, and maybe that feedback is only on the scale of yourself,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
Robert and I, the two of us, or 5 of us, our family, and it's like that feedback is you have to get where you feel it.
Mhm.
And so if it's not a big, large amount of people, then you come back to where the people you get it from are larger,
Uh-huh.
larger in your life.
Mhm.
And that's what we've done.
Mhm. Mhm.
Anybody else have anything?
I like the.
I know I did this last time, but I really think after sharing a half hour or 45 minutes with a listener, that if they can see themselves as a traveler, and if we reread this, I think it'll have a great impact on them.
So you want to reread it?
Yeah, I mean, just as an end, towards the end of.
Okay.
I mean,
think
what
we're-
I've gained from listening to it, as a traveler, but I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun to be able to reread it now that we know what we've
Where we've kind of unpacked
come
it a
to
little.
and unpacked from.
I think it's a great idea. So
Mhm.
who's going to read?
I can't see it very well, so I didn't know if Robert would.
I can read it. Let me see if I can make it
It's
a
a
little
little
bit bigger
blurry.
on the screen.
I
Okay.
can't.
It disappears if I. Yeah. It has to be. That's about as big as you can get it.
You don't need the picture. You can just
Yeah.
go to the
Yeah.
words and make that bigger.
It goes
Oh,
So if
I
everybody
floats
just
up and out of the
realizes they are the
frame.
traveler.
So it says navigating the factors of visionary sight demands a keen awareness of the delicate interplay between perception and reality. By economizing rhythmically the light, one can uncover hidden pathways and unearth obscure truths. This rhythmic manipulation allows the traveler to seamlessly move on water with an unparalleled grace, riding the undulating waves with ease and confidence. Visionary sight serves as the guiding beacon, illuminating the path ahead and revealing the intricate dance of light and water that unfolds before the traveler's eyes. Through this harmonious interplay, the traveler becomes one with the elements, gliding effortlessly over the liquid expanse with a profound understanding of the dynamic equilibrium between vision and movement, light and rhythm. That's number 27 in the Wisdom
It's
card,
beautiful.
which is on page 56 and 57 of the flip book.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It is really
Thank you, Robert.
wonderful to read it again now.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Thank
you want to say anything about it now, Sandra?
Well, I just feel the visionary sight serves as a guiding beacon,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
illuminating the path ahead and revealing the intricate dance of light and water as it unfolds before the traveler's eyes. I feel like that's a journey I'm on. After all these years, I'm still on that journey.
Mm.
Because you're a traveler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a traveler,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think most people that have come to the Long Spoon are travelers. And
I think that's
I-
really true.
Yeah, I do too.
depend on that visionary sight and the support of this family to support visionary sight.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they'll find visionary sight supported in their homes.
Mm-hmm.
What's so fun is we all travel in different ways, and then we bring it all together.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right.
And so it makes the travel richer and more visionary.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Now think
Yeah.
about in a day with Robert and I working with this work, Sandra working with the garden, Suzanne and Christina working together with the whole menu of life, and then Christina going out in the world working with coffee, which is all about it. Coffee
Lots of
assists
people.
with acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
But we all bring that together. We travel in those worlds, and it makes the wholeness of who our community is.
Yeah.
And I thought about that today, where I hear Suzanne up in the morning. We may have gotten up earlier and gone back to bed or what, but Suzanne's up, and then you hear Christina, and they're all kind of starting to travel. And they, Christina and Suzanne and Sandra, they touch base and for the day, and they travel together about that support. And then Christina then travels on to working with the coffee business and traveling all over Maine. And then Suzanne begins her whole journey of what needs to be done now for what's going to support the traveling in food and
Assimilation.
Huh?
Assimilation.
Assimilating your life.
so we're all moving in this house doing these different things. Robert and I are beginning to start to do what we need to do to get ready to receive new visionary work that day. How do we support our bodies? And so I know, remember in the story, was it Little Women? There was
Oh,
No,
Pride
what-
and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
There was a maid that was so neat. She just traveled through the house, putting things in different places where they
Humming.
need humming.
I love that.
And at the same time, they were all in all their little, escapades and their climate, their things that are going off and everybody in that house is traveling,
Mm-hmm.
but they're under that same roof, and they're all really traveling together
Yeah.
and then separately.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really visually, and that comes up to me all the time. And it's like they're all under the same Ruth doing this, and she's just traveling through all their rooms, and they are all, you know, getting ready for something or upset about something, and then the pig walks through the house, and it's just like
Placing the fresh linens and
yeah,
laundry on the bed, you know.
yeah. And
It's
at the end of the day, their whole house.
It's so cinematically, beautifully seeing the
Yeah.
flow of the travel through the home. The other place that has something similar is in Notting Hill, where he walks
yeah.
the street
Oh,
and the
yes.
Through all
seasons
the
change as he's
seasons.
walking.
Oh, right.
Very similar kind of conveyance of what that whole realm feeling is that flow, and how it carries from one to the next to the next. And I think what's neat is with this tabletop conversation that we're doing for this long spoon, these are our evenings.
Yeah.
This is
we
the
talk
kind of
like this
evenings
all
we
the
do
time.
have. And we're having it for this to be part of the long spoon. But there are many, many nights where these are our
Kind
kinds of conversations
Yeah,
that
that's
we
true.
drop into.
Yeah.
Because we travel.
Yeah.
And so we want to talk about.
And we come
Travel.
together after traveling all over
Mm-hmm.
in our different things that we see.
Mm-hmm.
We come together, and then
Yeah.
we have a menu that applies to it and helps us support.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really kind of magical, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Sure is.
Now, how come we do all these different things and still find a conversation that connects everything?
No. It's magical.
It's very rich.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Hoppy here tonight.
We
traveling
do.
with us.
You're traveling with us. Yep.
We had a really cool thing happen that's along that line. And our blog this month is kind of about this too, but how we walk the sacred path together, even when Christina and I in our relationship, even when we're have to be separate. And we did the coolest thing this past week, and Christina was up in Belfast making deliveries, and she had stopped for a break, and she was going to take a walk, and she discovered this hidden labyrinth that they have created along the ocean front,
And it was on Miller Street.
which is my last day.
Oh,
I know.
Mm-hmm.
But we've passed this millions of times.
But didn't know it was a labyrinth.
Never
It's
knew.
bricked.
Oh my
It's
God.
gorgeous. So she's starting to
Wow.
take a walk on the labyrinth, and I was just getting ready to go take a walk here at home in Rockland.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was we were both on our phones talking to each
Well,
other.
let's do it together.
And so we,
somehow.
like, she's walking the labyrinth and talking to me about the directions, because it had little placards on it,
Yeah.
you know, like what, as you
3
enter,
steps.
you know, the steps as you
Mhm.
enter and what you concentrate on and focus, and then when you get to the center. And so I'm walking the streets of Rockland while she's walking the labyrinth in Belfast, how many miles away that is. But
It was
we're
like
walking
a
that,
lemniscate,
yeah,
Mhm.
a lemniscate. So we were like walking the same path together,
That's cool.
focusing
That is
on
beautiful.
the same things
really
that we were intentioning, that, you know, things we wanted to get moved or that are up right now and we're wanting guidance for, and, you know, just needing to find solutions for.
Mm-hmm.
So we were intentioning that as we walked together, and separately but together. And so that's a perfect
I
example
should
of
put
this
the
traveling.
lemniscate music with that.
We will. We'll. Okay.
like
so we'll add our.
The
Yeah,
dynamic
because the music
Mhm.
you
equilibrium
did for that was so
between vision
beautiful.
and
Thank you.
movement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She
And,
was
and
seeing and
you're
you
walking
moving.
inside
Yeah.
sacred geometry,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is all about figuring the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about the equations and the geometry, what, you know, what angles create
It's true.
multiplication and what don't. It's really cool.
Well, and I never saw a labyrinth in the same way, but I didn't write about it. We didn't write about it, but they actually look like intestines. And
They look like what?
intestines.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So
Mhm.
it's kind of like that's the small details and the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you go in, walking in, and then you stand in the middle, you've gotten to the core, and then as you leave, it's like you're walking the same path, but it's so different.
You have a bigger picture.
And so it made me realize that the body is built in that same kind of sacred geometry.
Ooh,
And
that's
I don't
wow.
think I ever really
Uh-uh.
ever would have noticed that until I walked the curvy thing, and I'm like, I feel like I'm inside our digestive system. But like, to talk about breaking it down, breaking it apart and digesting your life, digesting what you're working with. God, I didn't write any of this.
We
Oh,
can
yeah.
add.
I gotta
We can
add
edit. We
Oh,
can add
that
to
is
our blog.
wonderful.
I knew there was more to add to it. It wasn't enough of this
Well,
juicy
it's
factor.
so funny because the small and large intestines, I think, have really been up,
Yeah.
been
This
up,
month.
and in
Yeah.
the legs and in the moving of things.
Mm-hmm.
But you're exactly right. It does look like that because you start out with the detail and a meditation of your life, and then as you move along it, you digest it, and then you move to the bigger picture, and then that would be the large intestine. That is absolutely fabulous.
And then you
Wow.
finish with the full release. No wonder they call it a release on the last.
No wonder they feel good when they get done.
I know, exactly.
Oh. Actually, that's fabulous. That's a
It
good
really
fabulous insight.
is. And looking at, there's so many things. I know Christina and I have really been exploring, like how to get movement that doesn't feel like exercise. It's like there's so much around the
Obligatory.
idea of obligatory exercise, but when you think about it as looking for
Inspiring
inspiring movement, and when you find inspiring movement, you're integrating your sacred life with whatever that movement is. And that's what we're really finding is the most successful and actually moves alchemically so many things in our day and in our lives and in our bodies, so that we actually feel much healthier that way when we can find that kind of movement. And
Well, that's funny you
So
said that
yoga does
because
that.
I wouldn't have found that labyrinth had I not realized, like, okay, I can't walk very much because I had injured my knee.
Mm-hmm.
And so that labyrinth met me right where I was at.
right,
It was the perfect amount of, it was flat, it was, I could do a short distance,
Yeah,
but like, felt like standing still, but like not,
Mm-hmm.
But like that was perfect, and I probably wouldn't have stopped there had to go for a longer walk, but I was looking for a shorter walk. And so that helped me understand even the connection of, the knee helped me tend to that moment,
I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
which is really,
that's cool.
it's all connected. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Oh, no, that was fabulous.
That's wonderful.
That was wonderful. In fact,
Uh-huh.
on this picture, the
Oh,
the pattern on the face looks like a labyrinth.
Yeah.
It does, doesn't
And
it?
guess what? That new oracle thing that you set up in the bathroom,
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
there was a book in there after we found the labyrinth.
Uh huh.
That night I came back
And then labyrinth is a book.
and it said, it was a whole book on the labyrinth,
Yes.
walking the sacred path.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This book was here the whole time and I didn't even see
well,
it.
it's just been there since I did that.
So isn't that awesome?
And when I was moving everything around, I've had that book, but I thought, oh, I want to put that in there and see it again.
I like
So
that.
that was really
Ooh.
cool.
Yeah, so that's really.
I like how you do that. Ooh, I
Yeah,
want to do
that's
that.
really neat. You found it. I love it.
I love the ancientness of these labyrinths,
Oh.
how
Mhm.
far back
Mhm.
they go and how
Mhm.
they're in chartreuse or, I don't know how you say it, but cathedrals. And,
Yes, yeah, characters.
And Goblet tap.
oh, wow, really?
Mhm.
Wow.
Well, that is
Yeah.
really, yeah. Oh man.
It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wow, that was really cool.
That's a lovely
A
conversation.
rich evening.
Mhm.
Truly, indeed.
Well, I guess are we about done?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think
Does
so.
anybody have anything else you wanted to?
No, everybody just needs to go back and read that last paragraph.
Okay, you want to read it, Sandra?
Yes, because after this conversation and through this harmonious interplay, the traveler becomes one with the elements, gliding effortlessly over the liquid expanse with a profound understanding of the dynamic equilibrium between vision and movement, light and rhythm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, may
Thank
all
you,
your
Sandra.
conversations bring profound understanding and a dynamic equilibrium to you.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it then, I guess, for the month of May and the Long Spoon. Enjoy being fed at the Long Spoon table. And remember,
we're
you
glad
can take
that
your
you
time.
Are fellow
You have
travelers.
Yes, you have all month. You can dip in and out of it anytime you want, day and night.
Savor
there
and
for you.
marinade.
Yes.
And then as a member, of course, you can go back and forth with even other months.
Yeah.
If you're so inspired. And of course, there's also the website itself. But this is the lovely curated area, which makes it nice and focused for the month for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, until next month then,
Yes.
ta-ta.
Bye. Enjoy.
Whoa, that was fun.
That was fun.
Amazing.